So with tons of rumors and apparently inside information that Switch 2 is going to be announced this month, like in the next couple of weeks, that is a super exciting thing to get ready for. I mean, seriously, that means a new evolution of Nintendo is getting ready to kick off, which means new console, new games, and new exciting trailers. So with that, there's a lot to be hyped for this month. And honestly, as excited as I am for the console, I think I'm more excited for the hype surrounding it. The big game reveals, that big first trailer where we finally get our eyes on it, and hearing the community just collaborate and talk together about what the heck we just seen. And seeing the reactions of people online is always some of the best parts for me. But I'm mostly a game guy. Just literally seeing the next 3D Mario is enough for me to pass out and be done, you know? A lot of people are kind of comparing what's about to happen to what happened with the first Switch. The sources are claiming that it's going to follow the same trend. Pretty much, not exact month-to-month comparison, but pretty close. Switch was officially revealed in October of 2016, and then we had a big blowout presentation the following year in January of 2017. So a lot of people are suggesting that we could have a similar structure along the same time. Instead of October, just a month earlier here in September, and then maybe once again a big blowout in January. But today is not once again me trying to predict when this thing is coming, because no one truly knows until Nintendo comes out and says it. You know, we're hoping that it's this month, but we just never know. Today, instead, I want to focus on how this is going to be coming to us. How is Nintendo going to actually give us this information on Switch 2? How is Nintendo going to reveal this thing? Now, before I dive into all of that, I want to stop and say huge thanks to all of you guys. You guys have been absolutely killing it with support for the channel recently, and absolutely killing it in subscribers. This was just yesterday's new subscriber count, so let's see if we can beat this number once again with today's video. So if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe. It helps out so much. But let's try to predict what in the world Nintendo's gonna do for this first reveal of Nintendo Switch 2. Option number 1, Nintendo could choose to show off the Nintendo Switch 2 in a very similar manner to the Switch 1, where they just give us a straight up 2 to 3 minute trailer showing people play with the Switch, showing them undock it and dock it, and showing the new features and the new Joy-Con, maybe the new controllers, the new graphics, just showing off what makes this new Switch new. And I think a 2 or 3 minute trailer is just more than enough to do something like this. This is also a great way to get us a glimpse as to what is coming to the console. I mean, at least at the time with Switch 1, we knew that The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was going to be one of the big games coming to that console, but we didn't know about anything else. And in that reveal trailer alone, they showed us a glimpse of the brand new 3D Mario being Super Mario Odyssey. They showed us a glimpse of a brand new version of Mario Kart 8 with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and they even showed us the sequel to Splatoon, Splatoon 2. So clearly Nintendo's in a different spot right now. We don't have something like Breath of the Wild that we know is coming. We just have rumors that there's a big 3D Mario game coming. I mean, after all, it's been 7, almost 8 years since Odyssey. This is expected. And of course, we have rumors of a new Mario Kart coming. This is also expected after being almost a decade since Mario Kart 8 originally debuted on the Wii U. Clearly, there are games in the pipeline that just make sense. And of course, a year 1 3D Mario and Mario Kart is just absolute insanity just to think about, and it's extremely likely. That's what's so great about this. But the fact that we don't actually have any evidence of these games yet is pretty interesting. Now, there is a chance Nintendo just shows off the new console and shows off old games, but I think that would be a huge way to shoot themselves in the foot. It's something very similar that the Wii U did, which showed some pretty lackluster games that were coming as soon as the console came out, and there was nothing super interesting. Remember, it took a while before we got things like Mario Kart 8 or even Mario 3D World. All we really had was New Super Mario Bros. U, which looked okay. It wasn't anything to really drive people insane and make people lose their minds. So Nintendo has to make sure, in my opinion, that they have some type of big title to reveal, or at least sneak peek, for this Switch 2. They have to give people a reason to be excited for it. No one's going to really lose their minds to see a new Switch 2 and then see someone playing Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom still on it. These are old games, it's time to move on to the new ones. So I'm hoping Nintendo, if they do decide to go this route once again, it's very similar to that first Switch reveal, where they give us sneak peeks at games like 3D Mario, Mario Kart, maybe even the next Splatoon already, maybe Luigi's Mansion 4, there's a lot of things that can be revealed here. Okay, option number 2 is, what if Nintendo just decides to go all out from the very beginning and just straight up give us a huge presentation now and just says, hey, here's everything that you need to know about the console. This one seems pretty less likely, considering the fact that there are still games coming out this year. For instance, you have 3 games still in the lineup, not to mention a 4th game at the beginning of next year with Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, so Nintendo would in a way be butchering those sales if they just dropped 5 or 6 full-length trailers for games coming out to Switch 2. People would be like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of reasons to save up. So I feel like if they're going to reveal the Switch 2 before these games come out, the best way to do that is just to reveal 1 or 2 massive games to get us hype. And these games this holiday can help tie us over until that time next year. And I think that's a perfect way to do so. Give us a glimpse of the 3D Mario, maybe even a glimpse of Mario Kart, maybe one more or something, just small glimpses, screenshots, just some little things just to generate some hype for us is all we really need. So I think the odds of Nintendo doing a 40-minute presentation now doesn't even make sense. I mean, Nintendo's even come out themselves and said they're going to reveal this thing in small phases, so I don't think they would just jump out the gun and have a 40-minute presentation right now in September. I also don't even think this is going to happen at all, not even next year, because I feel like the presentation was needed with how bad the Wii U sold. They really had to sell why the Switch was so fascinating, and it was a huge jump from the Wii U to the Switch, where we think, at least according to Nintendo, this is still going to stay in the realm and in the family of Nintendo Switch. So I don't know if it necessarily needs a 40-minute presentation unless Nintendo really wants to dive and talk about the games. Of course, I could be wrong, but I just don't see a big 40-minute Switch presentation happening anytime soon. Option 3, Nintendo could just come out on Twitter and say, hey, there's a Nintendo Switch 2 coming out, and this is its actual name, and maybe give us a picture or some type of image of the console, and that's it. I don't think that's the case. I think that's kind of a lackluster way to reveal a brand new console, but I just had to throw this idea out there because it's Nintendo after all, and we know that they're a very strange company sometimes, and they do things that no one expects, and I could just see one morning, we wake up and boom, here's an image of the new console, and there's the name, and Nintendo says it's coming out sometime next year, early next year or something like that. Stay tuned for a trailer and more information at a later date. I really just don't think there's a way that this could happen, but once again, I just had to throw the idea out there. I'd be pretty much heartbroken, but also very relieved that I can actually call this thing by its true name now, but still, I'd be like, so no video about the console, no video about any games coming to the console. Plus, it just seems like Nintendo has to reveal some games because it's just coming down to that time where they definitely got to get some information out about the thing. With Nintendo pushing all those presentations at the end of August last month, it just doesn't make sense why Nintendo would clear out an entire month just for a Twitter drop. Yeah, it just doesn't sound likely to me. And option 4, the last option, which also seems as likely as the first one, I think Nintendo could just have a Direct. Not just a regular Direct. I think regular Directs are done, at least ones for the current Nintendo Switch. This will be a very specific Switch 2 Direct. Yes, this will be some type of about 15 to 20 minute presentation, half of the one from January of 2017, and just one that's just really quick and informative. Here's the console, here's all the cool things it can do, and maybe a glimpse at 1 or 2 games. That's really all they need to do. So honestly, I mean, they could literally make that like a 10 to 15 minute Direct. Something that's just short, sweet, and informative and to the point. Something that just gets everybody stop predicting and trying to figure out what this thing is. We know the name, we know the specs, we know what it can do. Cool, and then maybe at the very end of the show at least, just at least one game that's coming to the console. That could be the launch game, it could be a huge title that they definitely just want to get out and just announce ahead of time. Whatever it may be, just one thing to get us talking, I think would be good enough. Or shoot, maybe they just say forget it. This is a full 40-minute Nintendo Direct where they're just showcasing games and showing all types of things coming to Switch 2, and it's just a way for them to also give us more information on games coming out this year and also touching on Switch 2. I don't know, maybe they just make it a full Nintendo Direct and it's just focused on all types of games. Switch 2 games, Switch 1 games, Switch 2 information. It's just a big old juicy Nintendo Direct full of nothing but first party announcements. Oof, that'd be so juicy, but one can dream, right? But whether it's a 2 to 3 minute reveal trailer or a 40-minute presentation or maybe even a Nintendo Direct focused on the console and its games, hopefully not a tweet. Please, Nintendo, don't do that. But either way, it looks like this is going to be an exciting month, hopefully. Hopefully this is this month because all the rumors are pointing and suggesting so. Only a couple of weeks to go until we can figure out when this is going to happen, whether it's next week or the week after. But this is super exciting. This is where the hype begins, and this is exactly what makes us fans of Nintendo. Just these moments of hype. We're gonna miss this. When Switch 2 actually comes out, we're gonna remember all the hype behind it and how many times I made videos on this topic. Man, it's a lot. Yes, I'm self-aware. But of course, like always, I leave it up to you guys. What do you think Nintendo is going to do with the Switch 2 reveal? Let me know down below. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out to make sure you're up to date on everything that drops for Switch 2. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.